Hello, good day, and welcome to Alena Media TV News. I am Victoria, broadcasting from Canada, and these are the top stories for today's news. Somalia anti-terror police and fire for oppressing journalists. Ethiopia lifts state of emergency, early citing ease in war. Amnesty International accuses Tigerian rebel fighters of gang raping children in Ethiopia. Uganda drops mandatory COVID test for travelers. Bringing you this and more in news in detail after the short break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back from that short break. Now news in detail. Somalia anti-terror police and fire for oppressing journalists. An elite squad of the Somalia police force has been criticized after being filmed blindfolding and typing of journalists who were covering an operation against Al-Shabaab militants. The incident in Mogadishu cut out the street drew out from opposition politicians, diplomats and press lobby who termed the treatment barbaric and heinous torture. The reporters working for private outlets had been tracking the incident in which Al-Shabaab raided the area on Tuesday night and had been interviewing locals about it when they came face to face with the Haram and Squad, a Turkish-trained counter-terrorism police unit, according to a statement by the National Union of Somalia Journalists. One of the journalists is always Mohammed Jilu, the director of eri-tv, an independent station in Mogadishu. The others work for Somalia Cable TV and Dasan TV. They condemned these brutal, barbaric and heinous attacks on journalists in the line of duty and the inhuman treatment they were subjected to by officers of the uniformed service, said Newswatch Secretary General Omar Farouk Usman. This act is not negotiable and we expect immediate action by the Haram Squad superiors or SPF Somalia police forces. The incident came days after 4 Shabab members were convicted for killing freelance journalist Jamal Farah Adam. 2 of the men were sentenced to death while 2 others who served sentences of 25 and 15 years respectively. The union says the impunity in government has also seen journalists mistreated by state actors. On Wednesday, various embassies in Somalia condemned the incident too. What occurred at Kada district is not a source of joy and will not remain unpunished. The commander of the police force ordered the detention of the police officials and the associated officers involved in the incident and have been detained immediately. Moving on to the other story, Ethiopia lifts state of emergency, early citing ease in war. Nairobi, Kenya. Lawmakers in Ethiopia voted Tuesday to end the country's 3-month state of emergency early as mediation effort to end a deadly war in the North continue in the Horn of African nation. The vote took place after Ethiopia Councils of Ministers chaired Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed decided on January 26 to end the state of emergency originally imposed for 6 months, citing recent development in the conflict. The state of emergency was imposed in early November as Tigray regional forces fighting Ethiopian and allied forces moved closer to the capital. Addis Ababa, the Tigray fighters withdraw back into the region in late December amid mediation effort and under pressure from a drone-supported military offensive carried out by the thousands of mainly ethnic Tigerians who detained under the state of emergency. According to witness lawyers and human rights groups, many were released after December shift in the war. There was no immediate work Tuesday on when the rest of the people detained under the state of emergency would be released. They include a freelance video journalist accredited to the Associated Press, Amar Amin Kayaro, that orders the state-affiliated Fana Broadcasting reported the State of Emergency Investigation Board is instructed to finish any outstanding work within a month. Judicial bodies are also instructed to finish emergency law-related cases within the regular judicial processes. Ahead of Tuesday's vote, an advisory committee within the Ethiopia parliament says the lifting of the state of emergency would help revive the country's economic and diplomatic situation. Parliament Speaker Tegaza Chalfo said the committee believes the country's security threat can now be dealt with by regular law enforcement. The Parliament Speaker said a new corrective measure is being put in place to deal with security threats in Amhara, Afar, Benishangul Gumuz and Kambela regions and the Waliga area in Oromian region. Aid for millions in Tigray region remains severely limited under what the UN has described as a de facto humanitarian blockade. On Monday, the World Health Organization said it has been granted access to send medical supplies to Tigray for the first time in 6 months, but said fuel shortages were hampering the distribution. Moving on to the other story, Amnesty International accuses Tigrayan rebel fighting of gang raping children in Ethiopia. Fighters affiliated with the Tigrayan People Liberation Front have been accused of committing atrocities, including gang rape and a result in Ethiopia, Amhara region, according to a new Amnesty International report. The Amnesty report released Wednesday said TPLF fighters deliberately killed dozens of people, gang raped dozens of women and girls same as young as 14, and looted private and public property in 2 areas of northern Ethiopia and Amhara region in the late August and early September 2021. Tigrayan forces took control of those 2 areas in July 2021, according to Amnesty. In the town of Kobo, Tigrayan fighters deliberately killed unarmed. To Amnesty, who based their investigation on interview with 27 witnesses and survivors, 10 of whom marked the date of miscarriage as September 9, 2021. The investigation also found that dozens of women and girls in Amhara village of Shina were raped and brutalized by Tigrayan fighters from July 2021. 7 survivors who Amnesty spoke to were younger than 18 and at least one was as young as 14. Many of the survivors suffered severe and long-term physical and psychological damages, including 10 who remained hospitalized 3 months after they were raped. Doctors who provided medical care to rape survivors told Amnesty International that 2 rape survivors had to be treated for lacration likely caused by having the bayonet of refills inserted into their genitals, the report said. The report documents mass looting in both Kobo and Hina, where residents accused Tigrayan fighters of having stolen possessions from their homes and shops and looted and vandalized public properties, including medical clinics and schools. The looting and damage to medical facilities made it impossible for rape survivors and other residents in need of medical care to obtain treatment, locally forcing them to wait until they could reach hospitals in Debak, Konda and Bahada weeks later, the report says. The looting and damage to medical facilities could reach hospital in Debak, Konda and Bahada weeks later, the report. Locally forcing them to wait until they could reach hospitals in Deba, Kodo, and Bahadia weeks later. Now, moving on to the other story, Uganda drops mandatory COVID tests for travelers. Uganda has dropped the mandatory requirement for COVID-19 testing at its main entry point in Antwerp. This announcement on Wednesday follows as Monday cabinet decisions that noted a few new cases were being recorded at the airport and that the threat of new coronavirus variant and community transmission has reduced. Mandatory COVID-19 testing of all incoming travelers at Ethiopia International Airport upon arrival has been stopped with effect from 16th February 2022. Said Dr. Henry Obaso, the Director of Health Service at the Ministry of Health, in statement, Uganda has, however, maintained the requirement for travelers to be tested 72 hours before arrival or departure from the airport, and health workers will continue to screen all travelers both at arrival and departure and verified COVID-19 test certificates, said Dr. Webesa. The government imposed the restriction in September last year following the decision of more variant of Omicron imported from neighboring countries in travelers who arrive near the airport. This is where I end the news on Alena Media TV. I am Victoria, and thanks for watching.